Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to open a box that contains some 3D printed spacers for the Adex Mason Club weight system. The Adex Mason Club system is probably the best money you can spend on your health and fitness other than an adjustable kettlebell. This is the Wildman model, which is a slightly thicker diameter handle. It is about 35 millimeters, which is meant to match the handle size of the Wildman competition adjustable kettlebell. Wildman kettlebell replaces 41 weights. 41 objects this size are replaced by this one item. And the Adex adjustable club system replaces a ton. I can't remember the total number, but we'll have to do the math on it. In club swinging and in kettlebell lifting, like in all types of lifting, the smaller the jump in weight, the more likely an athlete is to succeed. This is a previous prototype of a 3D printed spacer for the Adex club. We have a 2.5 pound weight and we have 5 pound weights. These weights have these little nubs on the top that interlock with holes in the bottom so that when they go together, they don't spin opposite each other. That helps it be more stable when you're swinging the load. Let's open this box. We have some different size spacers. Oh, these are really nice. They have the Mark Wildman logo on them. This is going to be for a different item. It slides directly on there. This is going to be for our Hydra, the HydroCore Hydra. Brilliant. These are improvements, it feels like, over the previous generation. They feel more solid and stout. That is exactly the size of our 5 pound weight, which is what we want. By putting spacers in the club, it allows us to control where the lever is, where the heavy part of the lever is, and that changes how things swing. This is a 2.5 sized insert. We have another 5 pound insert, and just like the real weights, they index with each other. Another 5. Man, there's a lot in here. This is awesome. Another 5. That will replace in the club 20 pounds worth of weight. Another 5. Man, we're killing it. Ooh, sexy red. Sexy red. And this is going to be another weight sleeve for the Hydra. Adam has really outdone himself with these prints. He has an Etsy shop up where you can purchase these. Other companies will start to make these over time. And the more people make things, the more innovation we get, the better the ideas become. We have a whole pile of 2.5s. This is in our other pile of 5s. So what I wanted was to be able to have 2 clubs with all the spacers necessary and spare spacers for different kits. That way I don't have to constantly change things out. Red. I'm liking the red. I want to be able to make 2 light clubs the proper length that they would be if they were fully loaded and have more spacers. This is awesome. These are the spacers that replicate the 1.25 pound weights. More 2.5s and another black replacement for a 5 pound weight. We have a total of 12 spacers here that replace 5s. We have 8 spacers that replace 2.5s, and we have 4 spacers that replace 1.25s. And we have these 2 prints, which are going to eventually work with the Hydra. The point of the Adex and of the spacers is that we want to try to maintain an overall length of the club so people learn proper technique. Obviously, you can use an Adex without that. That's how it was originally designed. But I want to be able to adjust length and to place weights at different positions in the stack to change the way that the club swings over time. This allows us to make club swinging more accessible to more people. The Wildman handle is about 4.5, 5 plus 1.5 pounds. We have 6 plus the weight of the spacers. We now have an extremely light club that has the correct length. The length of the lever changes the way a club swings in space. Many people need a very light club. People who are deconditioned, people who are injured, That's probably 250 million people in North America who need less than a 10-pound club in order to start training and to learn proper technique. The spacer on there lets people know if they are catching properly. If the length of the lever is short, if there's no spacers there, people tend to hold the club wrong, and it changes how their hand works. They tend not to be able to go up in weight. By adding spacers in there, the lever is longer, it's more responsive. People learn to put their hand in the correct place sooner, which allows them to get more and more out of training in the least amount of time. Training should be science, and you should start with kettlebell swinging because it's cheap, you can do it anywhere, and it focuses on the most important movements, and on club swinging. The two things go directly together. Kettlebelling 2 to 3 days a week, club swinging 2 to 3 days a week. Kettlebell lifting is moving up and down for the most part. You're picking a weight up. And club swinging is all about building the most important movement patterns that humans do. Throwing patterns. Humans are defined by their hands, by their thumbs, and the shoulder is meant to operate levers, things like tools, axes, and shovels. In order to help people build civilization, this is what separates humans from everything on the planet. You should work on those patterns 2 to 3 times a week for the rest of your life. Spacers and the Adex system allows people to learn correct technique faster, better, and that allows people to get what they want out of training. People get old because they stop moving. If you maintain your movement patterns and you learn the correct ones and you do them every day for the rest of your life, you can be stronger when you're 60 than you were when you were 30. When you swing clubs or kettlebells, the weight pulls your body out of its center line. And just by practicing the basic movements of clubs and kettlebells, people's balance improves because the weight is trying to pull them off their central axis. They are learning to resist being pulled out of their central axis, which allows them to learn to stand up better and taller, helps them learn to put their joints in the right order. The balance of the club, the further the weight is from the handle, changes the way it affects your balance. You start with a light weight, say 5 or 6 pounds. You add weight over time. As the weight of the system changes, it changes the torque and the torsion on all of your joint structures. The human body is not meant to move in straight lines. Your arm bends, your wrist bends, your shoulder bends, your spine bends. Everything in your body rotates because rotation allows people to do things like create power. That's why humans throw baseballs. That's why we throw footballs. That's why we build houses with hammers. That's why we split wood with axes. Your training should definitely focus on that. If you're just going to the gym and lifting in a straight line, you're missing out on a large portion of what makes humans humans and what keeps humans pain-free for the longest period of time. Start with a lightweight. Work on your throwing patterns. Make the weight heavier over time. When you can do your throwing patterns with a 50-pound club, you are definitely stronger, and that will translate to everything that you do. This is an Adex 15-pound overweight sleeve. I'm going to shove a couple of weights of spacers inside of that. We're going to put this on an arc handle. The arc handle is halfway between a club handle and a mace handle. Just checking to make sure everything works. It does. There we go. Lock it in, tie it down. All of these different lengths of the levers and the spacers allow us to change how the weight's going to affect our body, and that allows everybody of every athletic background to adapt. This system could be used for your 78-year-old grandmother, or it could be used for an NFL football player because there's so much versatility in it, and it takes up a very small amount of space. Thank you to Adam for manufacturing these. We will put a link to his company down below. Anybody who swings weights should have more weights available to them to swing so that they can get better results. The goal is for everybody to get up to the point where they can do 30 pounds of mills for at least 10 minutes, or they can do 10 minutes nonstop of 360s. With this system, you start light, you build heavy, you can get there. Humans are endurance monsters, and they are endurance weight swinging monsters. You should be able to do 10 minutes of mills nonstop. You should be able to do 10 minutes of 360s nonstop. These spacers and this system allows everybody to get to that goal, no matter what their athletic background, no matter their sport.